everyone. Thank you for visiting Donna's Happy Hour. Quick reminder, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications, and comment as well, and hope you come back soon. Thank you. Today, I would like to introduce Tina Marie and Andrew Gallagher, and they have a band called Whiskey Crossing. And it's a cross between country and blues, would you say, Tina? Is that how you want to classify yourselves?
Yeah.
Okay. And I have to tell you, if you haven't heard about them, you will hear about them. The band is fantastic. And they started as a church band. Am I right?
Absolutely.
You sucked me right into that one, didn't you?
So tell me, is that how you met?
No.
Okay.
No. Kind of. No.
Sort of.
No.
We met in church.
So did you know each other before that?
Yeah, you tell.
I always
tell.
we're getting the dirt.
I always tell myself. Really? You do the talk. People are tired of hearing me.
My point of view this time.
Now it's your, yes, let's hear that.
Well, why don't we do this? We'll have your point of view and then her point of view, and then we'll know, mix the two, and we'll get the truth.
Okay, there we go. I like this. No, so we grew up pretty much in the same area, not in the same town, but for some reason we both went to the same church growing up.
It was the only Methodist church around because there was mostly Catholic churches, and my mother was like, I'm a Methodist.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we knew each other when we were kids, and then we didn't realize that till we were older because, life goes on, we grow apart, she moved all across the country through her adult life.
Okay.
And when we finally got back to the church, we're like, wait a minute, I think I know you. And we realized that we grew up together at the church when we were younger.
Yep.
So you lived in different towns.
Yes.
Okay, but you went to the same church.
Yes.
And so that's how you knew each other. Did you know, did you speak at that time when you were kids? Or you just knew each other by face?
We were in a lot of church plays and, things together.
Oh.
We have, a 7-year age difference between us. So I was in the older classes and he was in the younger, but all of the children of the church would, partake in, the celebrations or the plays or the Halloween things or whatever. So,
right. I didn't realize that. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then... So
you want to tell her how you remembered me?
What do you mean?
You don't remember what you said? I'll let it go then.
No, I don't remember.
He's
like, I think I remember you. I was like, why? You remember? Go ahead.
Just when I was a kid, I had a crush on Tina.
Oh my goodness. Aw, isn't that amazing?
It was weird. I was way older.
Right. Wow, but that didn't matter, see?
No.
Oh, that is so... And so now, when did you reconnect? How old were you guys when you reconnected?
I left, the state when I was about 19, and I moved to North Carolina and started nursing school down there.
Oh.
It was not for me.
Didn't work. No, I don't see that working.
And then I got married when I was down there to, my ex-husband, but he was a Marine, and we went everywhere. We went North Carolina, South Carolina is where I had my son. That was Parris Island. And then we went to Missouri, which was awesome out there. Yep. And then we moved back, east because everywhere is a lot nicer and cheaper and everything, but the employment is not so great in other places in the United States.
That's very true.
And his trade when he got out of the military was industrial air compressor mechanic.
Oh,
You're going to find that on the East Coast, and that's what my dad does for a living. So we moved back, on the East Coast, and then I started fighting cancer because I found out that I had a stage 3 cancer, and I went through 8 months of that. And it was right before I found out that I beat it. At the end of my treatments, I was allowed back into civilization.
Okay.
I said, I want to go to my old church. I just kept saying that. It was not that far away.
Right.
So for some reason, I was being pulled back there. And I could not sit. So I went back.
Okay.
And then I remember sitting down and the praise band was up there. And when I went to church, it was not that cool. All right. It was just the choir, and the children or the older women of the church. And, but there was a band and they were rock and roll, but Jesus rock and roll. And I was like, whoa. And he was actually on the drums.
Oh,
and he's wailing away back there. We kept looking at each other do I know you? And then we just But it was so cool. At that point in time, I couldn't talk that well because I had the surgeries on my neck for the cancer.
Okay. All right.
And you know, I introduced myself, and his singer noticed my guitar pick tattoo, and he's like, "Are you a musician?" And I was like, you know, like I hadn't played a guitar in over a year. I wouldn't sing anymore because of the cancer, you know. So I was like, I kind of. And then my ex-husband, he was like, "Oh no, she sings and she plays guitar." I'm like,
Oh, that's
and then his singer at the time was like, "Really?" He looked at him and he goes, "No." He said no.
We had too many people in the band at that point, you know. It was like,
God.
No, because later on you said to me, I said to Eugene, "She's probably terrible."
Oh my God. So let me ask you this. So how old were you when you started playing an instrument, and what was your influence?
I was probably about 7 years old.
Wow.
And what actually influenced me was my grandmother and her sister. Her sister was pretty musically inclined, and at that point, the family somehow inherited this, half grand piano or whatever, and an upright piano. And I remember she would fiddle around on that, and I was intrigued by that. And I said, "What are you doing there?" And she would show me, tidbits here and there, and I just fell in love with it.
Wow. So you originally started with piano then?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Plays every instrument is kind of unfair to the rest of us.
Oh, it is unfair to the rest
because
of
he's
us,
always like,
yes.
"Wait, I know how to." If you do that, we're like, "How do you know?" You know, this is a spoon.
You know, it is amazing how, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story. A friend of mine, her daughter. Now, there's a little debate here. Okay, I remember it as her daughter being 2, but she remembers it as her daughter being 4. Either way, one day I called her up and I hear somebody playing the piano in the background, both hands, I could tell. And it was the theme from The Lion King.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, I know it's not the husband, and I know it's not, and I'm like, going down the line, I'm like, who's playing the piano? She goes, oh, that's, I don't want to say just in case, but anyway, I'm like, she's playing with both hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
She is. And she, so, to make a long story short, by the age of either 2 or 4, she taught herself how to read sheet music.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
How?
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Some people are just born with it.
Well, you know what? I'm thoroughly convinced that it's hereditary.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is a good artist, a painter, it's hereditary. If somebody's a good I'm totally convinced that it's
My father, very into music.
See,
like I was raised on like Fleetwood Mac and James Joplin. Like that's why you know me. That's like right in my roots.
It is right in your roots,
like total like Woodstock hippie child over here.
Right.
And my dad would he knew every song on the radio. And I remember I used to ride. I didn't get along with my mom my whole life. We argued a lot. So I was always very opinionated, and so was she. So he would just take me with him everywhere, and I'd be like, "Dad, how do you know this song?" And he's like, "Because I know all the songs, all right?" And he just keep driving. And I remember singing with him in the car all the time. And he said he played guitar when he was younger, but he just let it go. And he's always tried to shove the guitar on me because he really wanted me to play.
Right.
And
so when did you start playing the guitar?
Well, I'll tell you, I started singing before I could talk. I sang the alphabet and I couldn't speak a sentence.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then when I started playing guitar, we were stationed in South Carolina on, Parris Island.
Okay.
And my son was just born. And I'm like, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. We have one car. It's not here. And I've walked the neighborhood 6 times with the stroller. What am I going to do? So I wanted a guitar. I was like, Miranda Lambert can do it. I want to do it. And I want to do videos of me lighting things on fire. So I I was given an acoustic guitar for my birthday from a bunch of the Marines that I would cook for all the time. All pitched in and got me a guitar. And I sat home and I would, sit in the computer room and listen to like tutorials on how to play chords. And wow. I never used to pick, I did it lightly because he would sleep. So as soon as he napped, I was on the guitar. Right. And then I kind of like showed myself a little bit. I don't know too much, but I get by.
You do great.
Now, when did you start singing? Like, was it in church? Like, were you in the choir?
I always sing. I think I just started singing, like when I remember, doing reenactments of like Joan Jett when I was 4 or 5 years old. Okay. I tried to get my mom to dye my hair black back then. She was like, no. And then I thought I was a bangle for a certain period of time. But when I really started singing in public and not just with my friends, karaoke's or whatever.
In the shower.
We're in the shower. I actually like put myself out there was when I went into his praise band. And still then I was a little bit fearful of in front of people, because it's different when you're at a bonfire and your friends are playing guitar and you have a garage band.
Totally.
Like we had an awesome garage band in Missouri. I was like the queen of the garage, all right? But then when you go to people you don't know and you're not drinking a lot, it's a little bit different.
It's a little different, right. And of course, when you have an audience, it's, definitely different.
But it wasn't hard for me to find my legs in that, was it?
No.
Everywhere became a garage at that point.
So now let me ask you this. So how old were you when you had Aiden?
22.
22. Okay.
Yes.
And when did you develop the cancer? How old were you?
All right, so that's what I don't know because when I had him, I started feeling really sick. And I never got better. And I was like, okay, everything's changed. They say a woman's body changes every 7 years. Okay. I'm like, I'm just part of nature. Here we go. But I always felt sick, and then my throat felt like it was squeezing all the time. Wow. And then, we moved around so much. So it wasn't one doctor. It was doctors that it's anxiety. You have acid reflux. You're not drinking enough water.
Right.
And then finally I got really mad because I was in my kitchen and my throat closed. And I was like, and then all of a sudden it opened again. So I went to the gastro doctor who was convinced my whole issue was acid reflux. And I said, if you do not ultrasound my neck, I'm going to start flipping over tables in this place. And he was like, excuse me? I was like, you do not know what you're doing because I have a problem and you're not fixing it. I was like, you've put me on these diets where I've lost like 50 pounds. I'm like, it's not fair. And then he ultrasounded and he went, oh. You have a nodule, but it's pushing on your esophagus. It wasn't like bulging out, it was bulging in. So then he sent me to a hospital to get a biopsy, and they set me up, and I was not excited about this. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen, because they do it when you're awake, and they put the needle right. And they don't move. You have a needle in my neck. You don't want me to move? Yeah. So, but he couldn't do it, because he said that it was too close to my esophagus, that he would hurt me.
Oh, wow.
So they were like, well, we'll keep an eye on it. And I was like, okay. And then I found out 2 weeks after that, we were moving to the East Coast. I said, good, because someone out there will figure this out.
Right.
All you redneck doctors.
Right. Oh my God.
And I'm a redneck, so I mean, nothing against it, but like they weren't.
It's very scary.
It is.
Because you're depending on these doctors.
My life.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They get to live on,
Right. Oh,
so I got out here and I Googled endocrinologist. Now, all right, so this is kind of funny. So I found a doctor that saved my life by doing like the no. Like,
oh my God.
I don't like her face. That guy looks mean. What's with the face? No. I was like, oh, this guy looks nice. He looks kind face. I could talk to him. I could deal with this. Right. All right, that's the guy. And my sister's like, are you serious right now? So I called up Dr. Avatabli at Crystal Run, and I made an appointment, and I went down there, and he's just like I thought he was, so sweet and nice. And he said, listen, I don't like how that looks. I'm going to send you to an ENT, and he needs to look at that, and he's good.
Right.
I was like, all right. I didn't like this guy at all. He was so mean to me. And but he was a presidential ENT. So he worked down in Washington. I mean, he had the awards.
He had
he's
all
the guy.
Credentials.
Right. He's the guy.
Okay.
And he was rude. And he was like, I don't like how that looks. The thyroid's got to come out. And I said, what? And he's like, your thyroid's going to come out. I said, right, if you take that out, I get fat. That's how it works.
Right.
And he goes, are you kidding me right now? I said, do I look like I'm kidding you? You're gonna take that, I'm gonna blow up. And he was like, you worried about your weight? I said, I am a young lady. I am absolutely worried about my weight. And I was like, and that's actually not an easy thing to live with. You know, your thyroid, that controls everything.
A lot. Yes.
And he was like, if you want to die, you will continue arguing with me. And I was like, excuse you?
Wow.
And he's like, go home and think about it. I called him in a couple of days. I was like, all right, what if you took out half? Take out the half you don't like, all right? I was like, because then I can still function with the other half, right? I'm gonna negotiate. Yeah, this is so good. And he's like, you are irritating me. And he's like, do you understand how long I've been doing this? I said, do you understand how long I've lived in my own body? You know?
Oh my God.
So he's like, fine. So we negotiated half.
Now, Andrew, does she do this to you all the time?
All the time. I should have been
And
a
you
lawyer.
thought you had it hard, huh?
Yeah. So, but they took half, and then I should let them take the whole thing because it was a 15-hour surgery.
Wow.
And it did not go over well with my body at all. I have reactions to everything.
Oh my
My mom was a very natural woman, never let us have medications. You know, arm would fall off. She'd just like glue it on with peanut butter, you know, like it's just like anything natural, you know, you eat snacks out of the garden. So I don't do well with taking medications. And so that went bad. A few days later, you know, I get a phone call and he said, Tina, listen, I biopsied when I was in there, everything, and you are covered in cancer. Oh. He's like, you're coming back in next Friday. I'm taking the other half out and I have to completely give you a radial neck dissection. And I'm like, and I remember that moment, I crawled up, I was laying in the bed when he called and I like scooted up the headboard and I was like in fear. You know, it was like the scariest moment of my life.
Oh my God, I can't even.
Yeah. And then, so then I had to go through another, I think that surgery was about 18 hours. Wow. Yeah. And then they said they got, so then my body was not happy at all. You know, I was breaking out in hives. Right.
A huge adjustment because, as you said, the thyroid, and what,
And then they were like overdosing me in calcium because they have to give you a bunch of calcium. So they took out my parathyroids and all of my lymph nodes and everything. They said I was learning sign language. I was never supposed to talk again or talk above a whisper. So they were teaching me sign language, you know, and preparing me. And, and like, so now here I am terrified. And they said that, you know, your best chance is 60% chance of living, but we would give you maybe 40.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, so I had to have been sick for a long time because thyroid cancer is like the slowest growing cancer.
Really? I didn't realize that.
You can live. I live with it. I'm still not cured. They can't get it out. So it's I have microscopic thyroid cancer disease.
Okay. Okay.
But like, you know, and they monitor me and it just, you know. But so I had to have been sick since pregnancy or before.
Right. Okay.
So we're talking 6-7 years more.
Wow. Oh, because that's how long you were.
Yeah, to get to that point.
All those symptoms that you were having. Okay.
That's insane. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
So, like, because when they found out how far it was, he was like, this has had to have been going on a very long time.
It's just unfortunate that the other doctor was convinced it was acid reflux.
And, well, to be fair, to be fair on their side of it, they did check my thyroid. My thyroid was functioning perfectly. Can you believe that? Had no thyroid issues. None.
Wow.
That's the scary part.
That is scary.
It's like a silent little thing, you know?
Wow. Oh my gosh.
So then when I got to him, I was still like recovering from talking. And he actually, because of how smart he is with music, he trained me to start singing again.
Really?
Because I would always go to sing in the higher notes is where I was. Like naturally my voice was higher, everything. And it was hard for me to figure out because like naturally muscle memory, I just went there. It would come out bad. And he'd be like, you know, it's okay. Just bring it down. Just listen to the notes, you know, and it's not. And then finding keys is always a challenge for me now. Mm-hmm. But he finds them. He's so good.
Wow.
But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be singing.
Wow. That's amazing. But you know what? The whole story is so amazing, and it was so meant to be when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you knew each other. And then you moved away, and then you came back.
And then I needed to go back to that church.
Exactly. Well, that was all meant to be, and you're in the place you should be because when you hear her sing, you're going to be floored. And knowing the story that you just heard, it's actually
Yeah.
That's what you just
It
did.
was.
to me.
It did
It's
not come that
amazing.
easy at all. I remember when I joined his praise band, I couldn't really hold a note because it hurt. You know, like I had a lot of scar tissue. You could still see my incision at the time. It was like very prominent. Like it just happened a few months ago. And you know how they say like when you break a leg, you go to rehab and they have you use the leg.
Right.
I really believe that if I did not just, I would lightly just like sing behind him, like
Yeah.
really. I feel like if I didn't do that as frequently as I did, I wouldn't be where I was. I feel like that was like a rehab.
That, you know what? That makes sense.
I really believe
because
it.
you know a lot of people would think, oh, rest, you know, but sometimes that is the worst thing to do.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I remember standing there and like holding my collarbone because I was in pain, but I still went because it was like the only thing I could look forward to. You know, it was like the most
Right.
exciting time was going to band practice or just being around people and watching laughter because I'd been fighting it for 8-9 months. That was exciting. Like it's like life is back. You know.
Right.
And
yes.
yeah, so then I started begging him to start a band with me, and he's like, "No, females are full of drama. I'm not dealing with this." And I'm like,
And on
really?
top of that, I was in another duo for quite an amount of years, and I was just done at that point. I would, you know,
Yeah.
get-
Oh my goodness.
and he was like, "I'm just gonna go down to Nashville." I'm like, "No, you're not." He's like, "Yes, I am." I said, "Nope." He's like, "I'm going down there to become a songwriter." I said, "Over my dead body."
Wow, that is just, you know, it really, I got to tell you, it just warms my heart that this, you know, the struggle, but to find, because I have to tell you, this is a duo that is truly, I mean, you want to talk about soulmates and really meant to be working together. It is,
Yeah.
and it's, I got chills right now.
Yeah.
So, and I want to, you know, it's kind of, okay. So, as we know, I'm a medium, and right now I'm getting chills. Like there's somebody that was, maybe it was a grandmother that you were, I'm feeling somebody that like is really kind of close to you in the sense of, oh, I don't know. It's just, that was an influence in your earlier childhood. I know. Don't you're seeing? You know what I'm doing? I'm trying to compute what they're trying to get to me.
I'm the other. I'm like you, so I'm trying to read what's in your head.
Yeah. I'm sitting there and I'm like,
It could have been my mother.
and it's when you were performing. It was when you would get up and do little
Little things.
like you know, like a little dance and
You know,
singing kind of.
It's probably
you know,
my mother because my mother would always show me off. You know,
Okay.
like her friends would come over and she'd make me play the piano,
Okay.
and then you know she'd always tell me you need to sing like the Dixie Chicks, and then she put me like her friends had like a Dixie Chicks cover band,
Okay.
and then like she made me go up there and sing with them one time, and like she was always like go
That's who
you
it's
know?
got to be.
Yeah.
So that's who was coming through because
I don't
you know
doubt
what
that.
I mean. You obviously, you know, you're a fighter, which is
It's tiring, but yes,
yes, it
It's
is.
just-
It
yeah.
does. Yes, it does. I mean, it would be so nice to just cruise through life, but
right? How do
I
people
don't
get
know,
that?
too many people- yeah, right.
How do you get that?
Yeah. But let's do this. I want to talk about, because I know you were at the Chance a couple months back, right? Not that long ago.
Rodney Atkins, and then again with Confederate Railroad, who's not a racist band. Everybody hears that name like, ah! It's like they're just an old country band. They don't, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you've, because I did do, you know, a little looking through, trying to pick up pieces of information, which I did know that you originally started as a church band. But you also have played opening and with a lot of well-known
Yeah.
stars.
You want to tell her about your Lee Rocker story? Come on, Andrew. Let's.
Yeah, now that Lee Rockers with the Stray Cats.
Yes,
right?
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So
we were opening for Lee Rocker at the Stanhope House, and right off to the side of the stage, we were hanging out backstage there, getting ready to go on. And it's dark, you know, and I'm not very observant at the floor. I'm observant with everything around me except
Okay.
the floor. And I'm very clumsy, so I was walking to the stage, all of a sudden dunk, I'm like, oh, I hit something. It must have been somebody's guitar case. I looked down and there's Lee Rocker's bass. His upright bass just on the floor, and I was like, that was not me.
oh no!
So-
Oh my gosh!
And how like
If Lee is watching this and there's a dent, That was not.
How did you kick the
I'm
stray
sorry.
cat's base?
Oh my
And then, so another with the Travis Tritt thing, when Andrew was online and we had played at Rock Rivers and Ridges, and Travis Tritt was there, and I was like hanging out with his drummer, and I'm behind the drummer on the stage. A couple of days later, he's like, Tina, you're tagged all over the internet. I'm like, why? Because all the pictures from audience facing stage, you see me standing back there, and Facebook and Google found my face.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow! Oh my goodness!
We make a mark wherever we go, don't we?
That is
One way or another. Yeah.
Oh no! Well, that's what that's memories, though. That's so fantastic. Now you also have a gig coming up at the Bitter End,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
which I used to go to. And we don't talk about how long ago, but I used to go there a lot. I used to go to the Village all the time. And then you also are going to be doing down in Asbury Park the
Stone Pony.
Yeah.
which I used to go to a lot. So. Oh, that's fantastic! I am going to be there on the 9th.
Good.
So yeah,
Already busting it out.
Yeah. So just let me know what like junk food you want me to bring for the trip.
It's going to be a great
Oh, I
time.
know it is going to be a great time.
We've been trying to get in the Bitter End for 3 years, but you have to build credentials to be accepted in the Bitter End.
Yes.
And then I finally, a few months ago, I messaged the man who books there, and I was like, listen, all right, we need to talk. Because I have been emailing you for years, and you don't respond to me. He's like, I've been watching you. And I'm like,
oh wow.
oh, because we're friends on Facebook.
Okay.
And he's like, you're ready. I'm like, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Alright.
you never know who's watching.
Well, that's the truth. And you know what? And obviously everything happens
When it's supposed to.
When it's supposed to. Or usually, we can try to push it along, but sometimes it's not always best, you
Right.
know?
And we just stumbled like on a pile of gigs. Like we're headlining for our is it third time at the Stanhope House?
4th, I think.
Third or fourth time at the Stanhope House. We're headlining at Dingbats. We're headlining at the Stone Pony. We're headlining at the Bitter End. The Chance, I have a headlining date for that, but there's a really big national coming through that asked for that date, and I can still open for them, so I might just give them my date and then take the Chance headlining show for my birthday in June.
Oh.
But it's gonna be like boof, boof, boof,
Wow.
boof, boof. Let's just hope my friends are willing to go. Gonna have a lot of party buses.
I don't think you're going to have a problem with that.
Well, I asked Don, I said, do your buses run? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can I borrow them?
Don has the old. Are you talking about the Volkswagen?
I'm talking about all of
Or the big one, or the big
buses,
school
the
bus.
vans. He's Papa Bear, and Don he's my Yoda. He guides me through a lot. Like there's been many like late night Don help, and also we're doing new management and stuff, so he looks through my contracts and things
that's
like that.
fantastic.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Don is one of those people that has lived 1,000 lifetimes. And the man is just incredibly talented, incredibly good-hearted,
And smart. Yes.
He's a good businessman.
He is very good.
And so you're very fortunate to have him in your corner.
He's like
as
a
you know.
father figure in
He
my
is,
life,
he really
and
is.
like not just like for me to talk to about music, but like literally everything,
Right.
and he gives me so much advice, and he's always there,
Right.
so it's just he's a blessing in my life.
He is a blessing. You know what? He's a blessing in everybody's life,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
And I can't even imagine, your life,
Yeah.
Without him.
Yeah.
I mean, he in what's the word I'm looking for? He's an enrichment to everybody's
He
life,
does.
honestly, that he touches.
Well, there's like I'm very good at what I do, and not many people give that opportunity because you have to have a college degree. And so many times he's said, Tina, can you work with this with me on this, And I'm like, Don, I don't have any college behind me. It's just my wits that's gonna get us there. And he's like, I didn't go to college. And I'm like, okay. And then, he says, let's go. But like he sees the potential in me and he wants me to use it.
He wants you to use it.
Right. So like he's always giving me so many chances and opportunities to take, what I'm capable of and put them somewhere where I can work with him.
Right. Well, not only that, but he's giving you the you're learning.
Right. So much.
And so even if you're not using it right now, you're going to, years down the road, you're going to be like, wait a second, this is, and it's all going to come together.
Yes.
Which it already has for you because obviously, as you said, you've been managing your career. And it's amazing. I do want to show while we have it.
Andrew was managing for a while.
We had no gigs.
Well, you know what? You have to, as you know, one person can't do it all. So like,
good cop, bad cop.
Right, exactly.
Good cop,
You've got you do he does the booking. How is I forget what you said. How
I do the booking and the managing. He does the media.
Okay.
I don't have time to sit or the patience to plug in everything. So like I'm constantly doing all the business end and the communicating and this and that, and like I'm promoting all over the internet, and he's trying to keep up behind me, posting it here. He's like, she's just going. And then like I'll text him. I'm like, you're booked this date. You're booked this date. You're booked this date. He's like, oh my gosh.
No, it's a lot, and obviously once your career is really starting to take off, you may have to have somebody do it.
I know. He's like, yeah.
So I do want to just show this. This is, isn't this a photo from one of the albums or your CD?
Yes, actually, this was on one of our single albums. Pierce Photography took that picture at an old farm in West Milford. It's very good.
Oh, really? In West Milford? Oh, no kidding. It's a beautiful shot. I love this shot.
Mm-hmm. And I had that 12-string Andrew bought me for my birthday.
Yeah,
oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful guitar. It is a beautiful guitar. I'm surprised it's not a Oriolo.
I know. I have an Oriolo Jet Purple.
Oh, do you?
Mostly because I had it in my store and I was selling it, and then Marty Cooper Smith played it, and then Don came and played it, and a few other of the famous people Don hangs around with played it. I said, I'm keeping this. So I kept that one.
Now, to go back to Don, Don Oriolo, his father was one of the creators of Felix the Cat and Casper the Ghost and Elsie the Cow.
Everything.
You name it. His father was involved in it. But Don has now opened a farm, which is a rescue farm for horses. And but Don does so many other things, and one of the things he does is build guitars and design guitars.
They're fantastic too. I mean, the pickups that he chooses, the wood that he chooses, the body styles, like these guitars, like they don't come out of tune easy. Like they're fantastic.
Wow. Yeah. See, well, you know what? But knowing Don, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And now you were going to be, is he still going to be doing that at the farm with the guitars?
We are actually going to be making the guitars on premises.
Oh, wow.
So we're in the process of getting that all set up.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. So just one more thing for you to do.
Yes, as far apparently I'm going to be learning how to build some guitars, but it's going to it's going to be it's going to be beautiful. We already started preparing, the spot where it's going to be, and getting the whole plan in our head and everything like that. So just a matter of time before they let us open those doors. The world gets to see, how magical that place is.
Oh my God. When Don thinks of an idea, the next thing to everybody is, let's get it done. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. Now you did the Way Yonder Music Festival, which was a 2-day event.
Now, let me tell you, I saw him make a post on Facebook, and he was like, "Would everybody?" I remember scrolling through it, and he was like, "If I threw a festival with older bands with people going," everybody's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, Andrew, keep an eye out for that date because I always miss things like that, and to make sure we're not booked."
Right.
And and then all of a sudden I get a text. hey, sweetie. So I want to do this festival. And I'm like, oh. And he's like, but I want to like get like all the locals involved and I want to do this and this and this. So then we started planning a music thing, right?
Right.
And then while we were trying to do that, he wants to get this done in like under 2 months. And so we've got this done, you know. So he's got the office getting all the logistics together, and him and I are trying to book the entertainment, right? And I remember 5 a.m. getting a text, because we're both early birds, but he's earlier than me usually. And
man doesn't sleep.
It's like, doo-doo, and I'm like, what? And I look, and he's like, what do you think about this? But and I get up, and I'm like, all right, well, I think this, you know, right away. He's got my attention, you know.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever not answered him immediately.
Wow.
But you know, then I was like, you know, we should like do more than that. Like make it who you are, you know, not what people would expect this festival to be, but like make it you know, because he makes everything who he is, you know?
Yes.
And then he's like, yeah, we should do this and this and this. And then he's like, this is inspiring. And then next thing you know, Way Beyond Music on the Farm happened, and it was awesome.
It was fantastic. It was amazing. 3 stages, non-stop
That's what he asked for. That's what I booked.
Yes. And actually, I mean, of course, you would know better, but it seemed to go pretty flawless.
It went fantastic.
It really did.
I have to say, you know, I made the schedule and I was jumping from stage to stage, but I cannot take all the credit for that. The man who put the stages up and was the stage in control, his name is Guy. Do you remember the name of his sound company?
Oh, I do. Just give me.
All right, he'll think of it.
Yeah.
But that man had his employees running a tight ship.
Wow.
He did not give me any trouble from the schedule. He was like, "Are you insane?" I said, "Yes, I am, but this is what we're doing."
Wow.
And he was like, "All right." And I was like, "Listen," and, you know, and he would say to me, this band is late. I'm like, then they lose time. You know, don't get off schedule. And then one time we did kind of get off schedule, but he got us right back on.
Oh my God.
And I said to him, listen, if you follow this, we won't have any issues. And he's like, all right, I'll trust you. And we had none. And he was so great to work with. Also, you know, there was Ethel and Mike O'Connor.
Yes.
And everybody was like, so if him and I, they would run and do something, and Ethel and Mike was driving around the whole time. Ethel was running to the other stage to check on Uncle Roy down there because he was running the sound down there, and he had it very under control.
Yes.
Andrew was checking on things, you know, so, you know, it was, Don wanted that, I'm with the schedule, but it was a team to keep it running.
Yes,
and
it was.
everything, like, there was no negativity, it was all love the whole day.
It was, I have to tell you, because, you know, we filmed both days,
Yeah.
all day.
It was so much love. There was like
It was amazing, and you're right. Mike and Ethel,
Rocky,
Alyssa, I mean, everybody was so
the whole
on
team.
it,
There's
you
so
know.
many people that were missing.
It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I have to let the audience know that there were 60 bands, right?
Yes.
So we're not talking 10 bands
No.
in 2 days. We're talking 60 bands. And then, of course, there was the craftspeople, the vendors,
Wasn't there a bike demolition?
There was a
Or no,
bike.
They were doing tricks.
Yeah, they were doing tricks. They had a petting zoo. They had
The best part, when Don put all the painting up in the front and everybody started painting in
oh my
front of the
God,
stages.
that's right. Yes.
That was the best part.
That was great too. That's right. I forgot about that. You know, there was so much going on, and I can't wait for the next one.
It's gonna be great.
And the first day and that was amazing. The first day was the rain, and everything still continued.
Yeah.
It was like when I was standing there at one point, I saw all the people. I saw, you know, Don smiling and laughing. You know, I'm looking at him, he's happy, and you know, you guys and everybody was there, and I'm looking, I hear all the bands are smiling, and the people are there. I almost cried. I was like, it happened.
It did happen,
And none of us killed each other.
and the other thing was the entertainment was fantastic.
Yeah.
There
Thank you.
wasn't a bad band there.
There was 600 submissions. Do you know how many bands that is to pull through?
Wow.
Tell her how my nights went, sitting up in the kitchen, like just going. I'm surprised I have bald spots, because I'd be like,
Wow.
oh my
So, like,
God. I'm pretty sure half my eyebrows are
Oh my
on.
gosh.
And I'm like, I'd be listening and, but I have to tell you, 600 submissions and they were all fantastic. Like, how do you even pass by?
Right. So how did you narrow it down?
This is what I did. I had to do it this way. I had to say first come, first serve.
You did. That is the way you did it.
That's the way I had to do it. And I couldn't even skip over.
Right.
So it was literally, those bands were literally the first 60 that got in touch with me.
Okay.
I could not even say you don't fit. I couldn't.
Right.
There were so many. And I was like, I wish that I had 8 more festivals. I would just put you all on it.
Right.
And as I'm listening, then you start to realize, wow, our area has some amazing music.
We really do.
It was
we
like Woodstock.
Yes, it really was. It was. The two of us were like so glad we got it all on video.
Well, I might get in trouble for releasing this information, but when I got there the first day, they were like putting up the back parts of the stages, right?
Yes.
So like kind of building them, but they had to hang the banners and everything like that,
Right.
the day. And I started laughing because we watched a Woodstock documentary.
Yeah.
And how did they do the stages?
Built on onion crates. And,
Yes.
The day of, they were
yes.
flying
Yeah.
people in
Yes.
and hammering
Yeah.
stage together. As actually, I think the first acts were performing and they were still building the
yeah.
stage
Yes.
while they were on it. So it just totally
who,
fit.
Who was it that was telling us that he had gone to Woodstock, and somehow or another, the next thing he knows, he's up there, building and doing, and I guess friends of his were like,
How do you end up there?
And so it was the same thing, and we went the day before because I wanted to get some footage.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get the lay of the land, and now I will say that this was on a 500-acre farm.
Yeah.
And it was, what's the name of the farm?
Sunflower Valley.
Sunflower Valley, thank you, yeah. I knew, I was thinking
We're all like,
seed,
way
but
under.
and the name of the actual was way under,
Yeah.
the music festival. But it was on a 500-acre farm, and that story is amazing because there again, it was Don just sitting with the farmer one day and going, we should do a music festival. And the farmer's like, yeah, I think that sounds good. And the next thing you know, it's happening, and that's...
You ready for this? You ready to fall off the chair? Okay,
I'm
so
holding on.
now we hear almost at the end of this interview, and I'm gonna throw this out here.
Okay.
So when I was fighting cancer, I drove past that farm every day, and he put these big hay bales out front, painted them like different characters, like Angry Birds, or and I would stop and get out and take selfies with them on my way to
No.
the doctor all the time, right at the end of that driveway.
No way.
Swear to God, right?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah, and I would stop with my
That's-
son when and take pictures with him
No
there.
kidding.
Creepy.
That is something. It is amazing how...
Full circle, right
Full
around.
circle. But you know what? I do want to just let them know, again, the bitter end, that is November 9th in Greenwich Village. I don't know what street. I don't
Bleecker
remember.
Street.
Okay, so, or you can just go online, right? They can find
Yeah,
the date.
absolutely.
And what time are you going on stage? What time does that start?
8 till 9.
8 till 9.
Yeah.
8 till 9.
I was gonna let you answer that. He's like,
I don't know. I don't even know what month it is.
I wouldn't know unless I looked at it this morning. That's the only reason I know, because it's fresh in my mind. But
Oh my God, that is so exciting. I'm so excited about that. That's
Lady Gaga got found there.
And Willie
And
Nelson.
Willie
too.
Nelson.
and really,
Yeah.
oh my God. Well, I was saying that to my husband. I said, that's a big deal. It really
Taking
is.
me along. We've played at Session 73, and we played at the Bowery.
Okay.
But like they would never let us in the bitter end, so it's very exciting.
Yeah. I can't tell you. Like I said, I used to go there a lot because the entertainment was good.
Always.
As far as I can remember.
They better be if they gotta wait 3 years.
Well, exactly right. Yeah, they get a lot of practice in. So tell me, I've always wanted to go to the Stanhope House. Where exactly is that? In what town?
Stanhope, New Jersey.
Oh, Stanhope,
Yeah.
hello. Okay. And see, I'm not really familiar. I live in PA, so I'm not really Is that
Like, do you know where the Waterloo Village is? No.
It's right by Waterloo.
Yeah, it's not far from Pennsylvania.
It's
I know
like
that.
20 minutes from Newton-ish
okay.
area. Yeah.
So it's probably an hour, I would say, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more, depending on where from Newton, because I think I'm like 45 minutes from Newton.
The stand-up house is special to us because when we first started, we started as a duo. We didn't put a band behind us for a couple of years, you know? And so we really just did our own thing, found our legs in music. So we started out as Christian rock. He did a lot of heavy rock in the bands out of church, and I liked country and classic rock. So we're like, who are we? So we had a mixture of everything, you know? And then we finally locked in on where we wanted to go. But we wanted to play bigger venues and open up for people, you know, it's what we wanted to do. And we would apply and people would turn us down. Stanhope House let us in.
Wow.
And they believed in us, and we went up there and we had our music stands with the binder, and they didn't care. They let us do it.
Wow.
And now we've grown, and the people who saw us then, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, look at us now, they're like, we cannot even believe you two, you know, like, because it's completely different. I'd be on stage, like, a little terrified, barely moving, and now I'm standing on the box on the stage, jumping off of it, you know.
Gosh. Oh, that is it a large place? Because, as I said,
Not
I've never been.
entirely, no.
The
It's
size
more
of
like a
this
small
room.
club, basically.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, though.
It
I
is.
like
But
that,
just
you
the
know?
history of the building, well, it's been there for centuries.
Muddy
and
Waters played there.
Muddy Waters, Stevie
Really?
Ray Vaughan,
Oh, wow.
so many people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice, you know?
The owner's a good man too. Like he's a blues player. You know, his son plays the blues with him, and I work there. I work for him, and he's just like his vibe is the club.
Is the
like
club.
just this really, you walk in and it's like cool. You know, like
See, that's what you need.
Yeah.
You need that kind of
it's
thing.
one of the last roadhouses. You know,
Yeah.
existing roadhouses.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, yes. Now, so I just want to go back to actually you were talking about when you started singing and playing together. Now, with writing, do you collaborate or is it mainly, you know, like how do you?
When I met him, he was actually completing an album. Was that your first? No, that wasn't your first album.
It was, yeah.
It was, but you've written singles before then.
I've written songs since I was 14.
He's an
Wow.
amazing songwriter,
Oh, wow.
like mind blowing. And I was kind of mad at him because I was like, "You're not going to have me sing on any of your albums." He's like, "No, this is my thing. I've always had a band or a duo." Like, no, and I'm like, "What do you mean, no? Like, fine, whatever." And he's like, "We're not starting a band." I was like, you know, and but it was a great album, and I used to sing to all of his songs in the harmony. I was like, "See how good it would have sounded?" He's like, "Oh, shut up." Remember, you're like, and you're like, "Actually, I probably should have had you."
Yeah, it sounded good. I actually went down to Nashville to work with a producer down there, a friend of mine, and he's a songwriter, an award winner. He's a performer as well.
Okay.
And he helped me a lot with songwriting, and I spent a whole week down there.
Well, you know, it's so interesting because I like to watch the documentaries on actually bands, you know, whether they be rock bands or it doesn't matter. And each person, you know, will tell their story about their process of how they learn to write, you know, songs. And it's very interesting, you know, it was actually Jackson Brown. He was living in a building with, oh gosh, there was a bunch of great artists, you know, and he learned, am I right about that, Tim?
Don Henley.
He learned how, the
Don
process.
Henley learned how to write from Jackson Brown.
See that?
Wow.
So Tom, yeah, so that's how that went, and it was so interesting to, you know, to hear that. And then you hear, you know, like actually John Denver could write a song in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
That's how I
that's-
am.
You
that's
know?
her.
Oh,
I
really?
get so mad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had planned this summer single, a song called "Those Summer Nights."
Right.
And we waited months to write that song. I said, "Tina, summer's coming up. Like, we need this song."
Okay.
5 minutes later, she had the song. I said, we waited all that time.
Oh my God! But
It hits, it hits.
Night,
Yes.
It hits, right? That's right.
That's how
Exactly.
talented she is.
Wow! Wow! Summer Night Song.
I didn't
can't
know
wait
it
to
was a
hear
songwriter. I just wrote poetry. I didn't know that those
Okay.
were songs.
Oh.
And then once, we were talking about one of his songs, I was like, I wish I could write a song. He's like, you can. I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And then I come up with chorus lines real quick. And then my problem is all right, I have but then where do I want the instruments to go? I have no idea, So
Right.
that's where he comes in,
See.
because I can't figure it out. I'll just have it go straight forward. I can write it and just keep a straight pattern, and then he comes in and he just
figures,
turns it into this
wow.
huge thing that I didn't know it could be.
Wow.
Wow. Little Mud. When I wrote a Little Mud, I wrote that in under 5 minutes. I was making breakfast and I just dropped everything. I was like, shh, write down. I'm like, I wrote a song. He's like, what? I'm like, I did. I wrote one. It's good. And he's like, And I was like, all right. So I don't know what to do with it, but I want it to be bluesy and awesome. And I use bluesy and awesome and Gretchen Wilson, but Jason Aldean, but classic rock. And he's like,
Oh, really?
okay. So nothing, right? You got nothing for me.
Oh.
What key do you want it in? I don't know, the key of me? I don't know. And he's like, well, okay. And then I get mad at him, like, that's not it. He's like, I don't even know what you want.
But obviously you figure it out.
He does, because I'll be like, no, dun, 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 and he's like, yeah, okay. So that.
Somebody help me now.
Right, and I get so mad. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. He's like, I have no idea. I'm like, hear it in my head.
Yeah,
That's where the whiskey
well, that's
comes in.
right. that's hard sometimes.
No.
You got it going on in your head.
Yeah.
But now you got to get the other person to get it going on in his head.
Put your earbud in my brain and listen, get in here,
Yeah.
But one time we were writing Country Bound, and whiskey is not a good idea because we went that route. We were up until 3 a.m. writing Country Bound because I wrote it and then I played it normally, but we couldn't do it like that. We had to do something cool. You got to find a lick or something in there, to catch them, a hook, And we were up till 3 a.m. and we're like, we got it. And we thought we recorded it. It was great. It was perfect. Done. Got up the next day, drinking coffee, hit play. We're like, oh, God. Get rid of that.
Oh, my goodness.
So, no, it's not a good idea to drink over doing that. It comes out terrible.
No, I
Well-
said when I don't know what you're doing, that's when I start.
Oh, yeah. That's what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing either. So.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to be playing the 2 songs, Summer Nights and Little Mud. And we're also going to be showing some of the footage for The Way Way Yonder.
Oh, yeah.
Don't panic. No, it's...
I had 102 fever that day. It was
Did you
terrible.
really?
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know
Oh
that.
my gosh, my fever broke on stage. I was tambourining and all of a sudden I was drenched. I looked at him, I was like, my fever broke. He's like, oh God.
She was glistening in the lights.
It's so funny. Whenever you see pictures, people always we're looking at each other and smiling. They're like, oh, no. I'm like, what are the words? Or I'm like, I don't feel so good. Or he's like, what are the words?
Oh
I
my
had the chance
gosh.
last time we played there, which is she picked a song that we hadn't planned on doing. Like, all right, let's do it. How do we do it? I don't remember,
Yeah. And then I was like, hold on. And I was like, no, they're solo. I'm like, hold on. Okay, it's this. And he's like, okay. And
Oh my gosh. I gotta watch you guys now.
now there's a picture. There's a picture of me with the cowboy hat, and I have my cheek on his cheek, and everybody's like, oh. And I was like, what are the words?
Well, I want to just tell you, I really, really want to thank you. They not only do this pretty much, you're almost full time going with your music, but they also work full time.
Yeah.
And that is not, and you're a mom.
Yes.
So, and you have a farm.
Right,
A little
we have a
horse
farm. We have
They
a
have
farm,
a
yeah.
farm, and they got the most adorable little dog. Oh my goodness.
That was an adventure.
But I really want to thank you for coming on,
You're welcome.
and
so
I'm
nice.
definitely going to be on that bus. If there's any more seats, are there any more seats on?
There should be. Andrew's mom is coordinating the bus.
Oh, okay.
So all you gotta do is ask Kathy, and she's got all the information
Did you
for
give
you.
him my name?
Yes.
Make
yes,
sure
you
I gotta
did,
see.
Yeah.
All right.
But a big thank you, to you for all the support and giving us the exposure and our band, because we wouldn't, be more than just this if it wasn't for those guys too.
Well, you know what? The thing that's so wonderful, and I have to say this before we run out of time, is that, they do this. My show is a nonprofit show. We don't have a budget. We don't pay them. They do this out of the goodness and the kindness and the friendship that you build with one another. And it's a support system.
Yes, it is a support
One hand
system.
washes the
Absolutely.
other, and I enjoy being with you guys and listening to you guys and your music.
Thank
you know,
you.
I'm always up there dancing.
You are.
I am.
And we never get to talk like this. This
I
has
know
been
we
great.
never get to talk like this.
So I was like, what? What'd she say? I can't hear you. I gotta go on stage. I don't know if I can.
Right. And you know what? You're in a different mental frame of mind. When you're performing,
Yes.
and socializing, but you got to get your, you want to perform and you want to do your best. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Please, whenever you want to come back on,
Absolutely.
we'd love to have you. Again, don't forget Bitter End on November 9th, and then the Stanhope, Stone Pony. When is
Stone
that date?
Pony.
January 25th.
Is there anything in between that we should do?
January 4th, we're going to be back at the Chance.
Okay.
I can't say why.
All right.
And then the Stanhope House is February 8th.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can go on to, you have your...
WhiskeyCrossing.com. The website is beautiful. Andrew, he does the whole website. It's actually ridiculously professional. I'm a booking agent for a living, and a lot of those national acts don't even have a website like what he does.
That looks like...
All the media things are fantastic, guys. Check him out. We have a shop there. Andrew put up a place where you can buy tickets right on the website, and there's, you can contact us from there, and there's t-shirts. We have a whole t-shirt line from Whiskey River Dry Goods Company, and we have a clothing line.
And you have... Really?
We do, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
When
a
do you
designer.
guys sleep?